Hi guys, it's Laura. How you doing? I'm doing something totally different with you today. I don't know if you've ever heard of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique tapping. It's something I was introduced to long ago by a friend named Nick Ortner, who's a neighbor, and he needed some kids to be in a movie he was making, so my kids were in this movie. Hi, Greater Bombay. Hello, everybody. And that's how I got introduced to EFT, or what's called known as tapping, or emotional freedom technique. If you've heard of it before, let me know. Just throw like a 1 in the chat or something, or an emoji. Um, if you haven't heard of it, it may seem awfully strange to you, so I'm going to give a little introduction and then I'm going to tell you why we're doing it. Emotional freedom technique, EFT, is a form of healing. I knew about it forever, but often didn't do it that much. My mother was more into it, and she did it with the kids. Hi, we're doing EFT today. Hi, Monica. So the reason I'm going to do this video today is to help. I'm kind of going to throw every issue that ever comes up with my art and design students. This even goes for musicians, and I'm going to walk through some healing. You can try the tapping with me today. It's really useful to use when you're actually feeling stressed, really actually feeling physically stressed about something. Because what you can do in EFT, you tap on meridians, like acupressure points. There's a series of them. I'll walk you through it really quick because I know a lot of you are new to this. It looks a little funny when you do it alone, but it literally rewires your brain around the topic that you're talking about, de-stresses it, and helps create new pathways. So a lot of times I avoided EFT because if I'm feeling something really unpleasant, like really losing faith in my business or my abilities or my relationship, my parenting, whatever, a lot of times, isn't it wonderful? By the way, so Monica, your retreat photos are breathtaking. I love them. And I just did a webinar about caftans the other night, and your whole thing was about caftans. I was like, it's amazing. It's very healing. So today, here's my experience as an art and design teacher. People come to study design, but what often comes up so quickly, do you use it, by the way, Monica? Thanks for the hearts. Is it suddenly, especially with fashion, people come because they love beauty. Same thing with music. They love beauty, harmony, color, texture, expression, joy, beauty, all this stuff, right? And then when you come to start, you're like, oh, I don't like my drawings that much. Or, did you ever talk to musicians after they play a show and you're like, wow, that was amazing, thank you. And all of a sudden they start saying, oh no, I messed up the second song and the third ending. Even like top level musicians I know, they're like complaining right after. Yeah, I literally didn't use tapping for a long time because I didn't want to talk about the icky emotions I was having. I've been doing it a lot more lately. I'm comfortable with my art skills. I'm kind of used to the fear. Like I always have a fear before I start a project. But I find that for me, it's in business and finance. In fact, I started my business because for centuries, I was telling my students that art is not a skill, is not a thing you're born with or not born with. I mean, the desire you're born or not born with. Like if you don't want it, fine. But if you want it, you don't have to be born with a skill. You don't have to, it's not like a God-given. If you want it, then it's yours. And then I realized having my own business, I always said, oh, no one in my family is a business person. I don't know anything about business. I don't know how, And I realized, wait, if I'm telling all these students they can learn art and I know it's just skills. The expression comes through you, but it's just skills that speak it. It's like learning a language. Well, it's the same with marketing and it's the same with business and all these things. So today we're going to tap through a lot of the fears that come up around art. I would love to hear some of yours if you guys want to share some that you have. I know for me it's often I hear, I personally had this as well, people waiting for permission to be called an artist. being afraid to call, not feeling safe to be one, not being supported by family, having been criticized by significant people along their path, like a teacher, a partner, a sibling, a parent, having been discouraged. A lot of these things that come up, it's amazing when we come to beauty. We have almost like this perfectionist tendency where we just wanted to come right out, and when it doesn't, we start to turn on ourselves. This is the part I want to talk about. It's either by saying we procrastinate too much, or it's by saying that we're not good enough, or that everyone else is better, and. So that's what we're going to tap about. And I'm actually, I didn't write it up. I never worked that way. This is my first time doing a tapping video, but I'm going to get right in, and I'm going to let it come, because I know it's going to come easily, because I always feel I'm guided when I do something that's for healing purposes. The universe conspires. And I forget what the other thing I was going to say, so I'll just drop it. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to the points that we tap on. You don't have to beat hard. You can't really risk being too light either, but we start on what's called the karate chop point. We'll start there, and we'll get the topic going there. But I'm going to walk you through this first so you recognize these acupressure points. This is karate chop point. You can just take 2 or 3 fingers, preferably the dominant hand. You struggle with looking at your pictures as art, documentation. And you know what? There comes a day, and it's almost like a miracle, where your language may change. If you need to use the word art, documentation to feel safe, do that. I didn't feel safe. Even after I had my degree, I still didn't. I felt very unsafe to use the word artist. And there's like whole family histories behind that. I so appreciate you sharing that. And I'm so embarrassed that I don't know your real name right now. But yes, we don't always feel safe. Hi, Apple. We're doing a great healing EFT today. You may have to catch the replay to catch the beginning. So you said it's safer to use the word documentation. Greater Bombay, from my perspective, I always have thought of you as an artist. I love your work. And I can call you an artist, and you can wait until you feel safe. So let's talk about that today. We want to feel safe in our art. So first was the karate chop point. What we're doing is we're rewiring and defusing our brain around these stressful beliefs, okay? Then we tap crown of the head, just anywhere up there, lightly, tapping. The next acupressure point that we will be tapping on, I'm going to combine it with affirmations, and you'll see how this works. It's beautiful. The next top is the inner edge of the eyebrow, just above. You can lightly tap. You can use 2 hands, or you can use just 1. Some people say you get more from 2, so I'll take it. The next will be, and you'll see me do this, but it's going to be the side of the eye where there's a little bone here. We'll be tapping there. Then we'll be tapping the bone under the eye, like eye socket bone. All of this helps. It's acupressure. Okay. Upper lip, between the nose and the lip. Then we'll be tapping between the lip and the chin. Almost done, guys. Sometimes I want to do this. I'm like on the subway, and I'm like, ah. But it's extremely popular now. You can learn more about it on YouTube. Okay, now I'm using all my fingers, and I'm tapping the collarbone. So collarbone's here, the corners, right? I'm just below that. And then the final, is it the final? Not the final yet. Under the arm at the bra strap level, tapping. Okay, lightly. And the last tap will be wrist to wrist. You may find often that while we're doing this, you start to yawn, or you may get a headache, or actually you may heal a headache. A lot of people use this for pain, all kinds of pain. Okay, so just don't be surprised if you have some, if you're yawning, it says the energy is moving. I guess some people even like burp or sneeze or whatever. For me, it's often yawning. So let's just start. Like I said, I didn't plan it on a piece of paper. What I'm really doing is kind of channeling the voices of so many students as well as myself. And, we're working through this all together, whether it's music, art, learning something new, running a business, etc. Okay, so we start by making a statement like, even though I don't like my art. This may resonate with you. You could plug something else in, but even though I'm really frustrated with my own progress, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Now, I didn't used to say forgive until this year. I picked that up from Gala Darling, and forgive is huge for me. Why? It just adds, instead of love and accept, but to add forgive, that means you can always start fresh when you have forgiveness, right? Even though I'm so hard on myself when I create my art or learn something new, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I'm so frustrated that I come to the paper with all these beautiful dreams, and I know deep down inside that I have something to say, I have beauty to create, that there's a reason for it, but then I get frustrated. I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. I'm going to do a little more while we're still on Karate Chop. If you stop for a second, you'll feel that it's tingling. I always like check in with that, and I can feel that. Even though I can tend to be very hard on myself also for quote unquote procrastinating, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Because it's not always that I need to push, 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 do. Maybe sometimes creativity is a cycle. Maybe I'm just resting. Or maybe I'm too scared to work. I forgive myself. I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Okay, so we kind of got a mood there. Does that resonate for anyone as a topic? Okay, I'm going to start going through the tapping. Even though I'm afraid to call myself an artist because I don't feel safe to call myself an artist for various reasons, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though before I create, I get scared and I put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though when I start creating or start learning, I immediately notice this very unkind voice inside myself, turning against my own loving, beautiful dreams. I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. I'm not alone. Sometimes this is part of the process. Sometimes we are called to make art so that we can learn this about ourselves, so that we can learn to love ourselves more and actually be more open and playful in our creativity. Even though I can be so judgmental, more judgmental of my work than anyone else would be, and that scares me, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. And that creates one cycle. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I should probably be drinking water. Gala Darling recommends that. I literally didn't tap forever. My mom used to tap with the kids when they would fall or scrape their knee and stuff. And we're going to do just a few more rounds. I hope you can stay. If you have any things you'd like me to add in, because I'm gonna just keep bringing up things that come up. I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Looney Moon. I feel so blessed to have a new mama in the room. And I want to remind you that when we're tapping on art, being an artist, to me, artist means parent, mother, because family is your design, is your art, is your creativity. Your home is your creativity. Your life is your creativity. Could be music, could be art, could be owning a business. Okay, so if I'm using the word art, maybe I should just be saying creativity because this is what it's about. Okay, so we're gonna go through again, tapping on the meridians to recharge and take away the strain and rewire our brains from stressful thoughts. It's called EFT tapping. So we're going to the crown of the head. Even though I have a beautiful vision about my business, my family, my art, my creativity, even though I have a beautiful vision, I often doubt myself deeply. Even though I doubt myself when I get challenged, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I get compliments on my work, and deep down, I know I deserve them in a way because I believe in what I do, but I don't accept them. It's like part of me won't let them in. I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself for that. I am learning to take in more compliments. I am learning to take in more money and appreciation for what I create, even if I'm just beginning. The reason I'm beginning is because I'm up for a challenge. I'm up for an experience that I'm called to. And that calling is bigger than me. And I know that overcoming the challenges is a deep growth that I can be so proud and happy of. So I'm gonna take another deep breath in and out. Okay, I have one more that just comes. When I take the deep breath, I always get a new one. You'll find this for yourself. You can make up your own affirmations, walk down your own path with it. But I keep thinking of myself and my students. So what often comes up is, even though I procrastinate starting because I'm so scared, I deeply love and accept myself. Hi, Edu. We're doing EFT tapping. I don't know if you know about it. These are acupressure points. Many times I don't start because I'm so scared. And I'm very critical of my work. Sometimes, to the point that I paralyze myself. But I'm always ready to learn, to trust that I am called to create because of love, not because of fear. Thank you for sharing, Edu. I knew it. That's why we're doing this. We are called to create, to learn to love ourselves more. And when we love ourselves more, when I love myself more, there's more love in the world. And my message becomes deeper and more important and more valuable. And that's why I was called to create. When I get scared, I can treat myself like the child that's scared inside of me and give that child love and support and listen to what they're saying. But I know that when I say I can't do it, that's just a belief that can change. I wouldn't be called to do it if it wasn't in me. I think that was our third round. I cannot tell you how often I hear women say, oh, I need one more certificate, one more degree. Oh, I can't charge for that. Oh, I'm not ready. But these are people. I'm not just saying people just saying that. People who have God-given gifts. And here I've said at the beginning of the video, it's not just something you're born with. Okay. But like people who already the gift they have. But they keep thinking it's not time yet, or that somebody has to give them a paper or a certificate. Maybe for some things this is true, like if you're someone who takes blood, yeah, you should do your training and learn how to draw blood, right? But so many women, and this probably goes for men as well, but I really feel it really hits me when it's with women who just don't feel they're enough yet. And sometimes, you can say, oh yeah, you want to start studying such and such, go ahead. Yeah. But sometimes you say, wow, so and so is you're so talented, or you already do what you're saying you want to do. It's who you are. I've been watching you for years. Well, it's my hair. Where is my hair sticking up? Um, I think we learn this in school. I mean, I should say, I know we learn this in school. We learn to delay our reward. We learn to put always in the future something that we wanted to be experiencing today. We wait for permission from some kind of an authority. And this is a really powerful way that our society can build consumers, right? But we're all born with unique gifts. When you go to school, you have to study this, and this, and so does everybody else. But some of you are really drawn to this, and some of you are really drawn to math and science. Someone else is really drawn to the arts. Everyone has their role. Everyone has a place. Everyone has unique gifts. We don't all have to learn everything and be good at everything. We all are interrelated and interconnected, and that's how we have a place in our communities, and that's how we can all share gifts with each other. I went to an amusement park the other day, and I was looking around. I was just like, I get to enjoy this, and I didn't build these roller coasters. If I did, people would be dying on them. Somebody has the knowledge, the expertise, and the inspiration. They created this, and I get to just show up and play with my kids. Like, wow. So what you're curious about, what you love to do, you're naturally going to, it shouldn't have to be painful to do the work to get the skill, because you're curious, you're motivated. If you could be kind to yourself, it becomes play. Like, later you can say, ooh, that was hard work. But actually, those hours, that devotion, that motivation was effortless, because that's what you're called to do. So sometimes I'll say it's hard work, and I'm lying. I remember when I first had a baby, people, I learned to complain a little. People would say, how's the baby? I'd be like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh. Yeah, I was tired. But guess what? I was so happy that I was practically embarrassed. I mean, I don't know how to describe that psychosis, but I was embarrassed at how incredibly happy I was. I kind of felt at that time, I felt like embarrassed that everyone else couldn't experience what I was experiencing at that time. So it was like, where did I learn to play down my joy? I mean, when people are joyful, that reminds us that joy is possible, and that people are living the dreams that we didn't get to live, and then we get to live dreams that they didn't get to live, and we all, as a collective, if we believe that we're a collective, then we're all doing it, and we're all inspiring each other. So I'm going to do more of these tappings, and I'm sure that they're going to get more focused and relaxed as I do more of them, because honestly, it's something I do alone, or I'll follow along with someone else. But today I wanted to make sure I talked about that. I tried to release this inner voice, give voice to it while tapping, to the one that says you're procrastinating when maybe you're just resting. The one that says you're afraid when maybe you are afraid, but maybe you are also excited, and that energy, because it's blocked, feels like fear. But if you can take a playful, easy, joyful space to explore it, you're going to get better and better. I wanted to speak to the part of us that wants permission to be called an artist or to create art. The part of us inside that tells us we're not good enough, that we won't be good enough, that the one that looks at our first drawing and says, oh, God, that's terrible. I wanted to release those voices so that that voice of love can come through. and keep you on track towards your dreams. If you have a dream, it's yours. Don't let anyone stop. And the worst voice you often have stopping you is this one. Because the voices out there, people who, meh, 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 if it doesn't resonate in here, then it's like you don't even hear it. But if there's a little piece of you that doubts in there, it's going to trigger it. And that's okay, because you're here to grow. You're here to love more. You're here to learn what love really is. And until you can be kind to yourself and accept yourself and allow yourself to be vulnerable with yourself and take baby steps yourself, you haven't learned enough about love yet. And that's okay, because there's always more to learn about love. So thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. Send me a note, maybe if something came up for you, or if you actually felt better, or if you just thought it was weird. I'd love to hear back from you, because I like to be giving you content that helps. Freedom Fashion starts September 3rd, and registration is still open all month. And if you sign up at fashionillustrationtribe.com, I just want to remind you that there are free gifts for subscribers. Plus, you'll get all the invites to all the trainings that I'm doing throughout the month about fashion design, fashion art, all the fashion arts, so that you can kind of be in a classroom with me and get your creativity on. Because Freedom Fashion is a paid program, I love that all in August, the classes are all free. So if you can't sign up for Freedom Fashion, you still can get all this great free content and keep learning. All right? And then if you join and pay, well, we have other things lined up as well to go deeper. Thanks again, guys. I love you, and I really appreciate you sharing your experiences. I know this is so common because I've been teaching art and design for 20 years and I'm a human. So the self-judgment, the inner critic is loud, it's persistent, but we've got this, because love is stronger. Bye, guys. Have a great week.